This week on Big Red's Cooking, we make risotto. Hi, and welcome back to Big Red's Cooking. As always, I'm Big Red. You know, I got another hat on. It's been another day working busy outside. You know, we've been lucky so far this winter. It hasn't been too much snow yet. You know, what's come hasn't stuck around, but I'm still working on that wood pile. I finally gotten through all of last winter's wood. You can see the picture right here. So now I'm gonna have to get all this split and stacked into the basement before I can start on the next wood pile. So I got a feeling there'll be a few more videos like this. But you know what, I don't mind working out there in that wood pile. It helps me burn off some energy and lets me feel good about eating the food that I eat. So for tonight's video, I'm actually gonna make a risotto, which is a classic Italian dish. This one's showing up on a Technical Tuesday because really it's all about that technique more than about that recipe. You know, you're gonna hear me talk about this later, but really focus on that technique. Think about, watch what I'm doing. Think about that. It's a technique that you can apply to a whole bunch of other things. So why don't we jump on over to the workbench? We'll pick up over there. All right, so with risotto is a technique as much as a dish. So, you know, with my videos, what I try and get people to think about is the process. Don't focus too much on the ingredients, and I'll give you the ingredients of what I'm using. But you know what? You don't have to use the same ingredients as me. You don't like one thing, don't use it. You like something else, add it. You know, try and really think about the techniques that I'm using, which is why I'm doing this one on a Technical Tuesday and not a Feed Yourself Friday. All right, so I've already got my arborio rice here. We'll get to that in a few minutes. I got some mushrooms there. I got a shallot. You know, sometimes I like to use garlic. Today I'm feeling shallot. I will start by giving our knives there a little pass on our steel. A dangerous knife is actually more dangerous. Sorry, a dull knife is more dangerous than a sharp knife. So I'm just going to give this a quick dice. I'm not going to do anything fancy with it. And again, you know, I've got that video on dicing onion. The exact same sort of process. It's going to make it pretty oniony, but I love onions. Alright, so let's get our pan turned on here now. Olive oil. And you're going to notice we're going to use a fair amount of oil in this to get ourselves started. So I always like to start my onions and shallots and whatnot in colder oil. I just, you know, it's one of the few things I start in colder oil and let come up to temperature, because I find, especially with shallots, they can burn otherwise. They do burn at low temperatures. They have a lot of natural sugars into them. Adjust my head here a little bit. Let's get aside our vegetable scraps for that compost pile. Now, and while those start, I'm going to get some mushrooms cleaned up. Yeah, I'm not doing anything fancy with these. I'm just going to cut them in half and then slice them down. if you've never cooked with shallots before, you know, and I have used them in other videos, they are an onion, member of the onion family. They're similar to a red onion. They've got that definite sweetness that onion has, you know, but they tend to be a little bit smoother in flavor, and then I find there's a nuttiness to them that they develop, you know, as they fry off, and I think they're fantastic, and it almost gives you a little bit of a garlic type flavor without actually using any garlic. Throw our mushrooms on in there. And we're going to let those cook off. And I'm realizing I might even have to switch pans. I got a feeling this pan's going to be a little too small. It's okay, as quick as that. Lickety split. We got a larger pan. A larger pan means a little bit more oil. So in the pot back here, I've actually already got my chicken stock going. This is chicken stock I've had in the freezer for a while. And if you watched my rice peel-off video, you will have heard me talk about that. And that's good to go. We want that at a nice simmer. Get my ladle. I'm going to need a ladle. Again, as you probably have heard me before, C-A-Y-G, clean as you go. Makes your job a lot easier. So our mushrooms and our onions are looking fantastic here now, our shallots. And really, up until this point, I haven't done anything that's specific to the risotto. So with the risotto method, what we're going to do is we're actually going to start off very similar to how we started off with our peel-off. We're going to go ahead and we're going to throw our rice right into the pan. And we want to make sure all those rice grains have been coated by a little bit of that oil and a chance to cook for a moment. And so now that we've cooked off our rice grains there for a few minutes, what we need to do is we're going to add our stock in. And we want to add this basically almost at a simmer temperature. And we're only going to add small amounts at a time. So I'll be doing this about a half cup at a time. So I was saying, so we're only going to add this at about a half cup in at a time. Now what we've got to do is we've actually got to let the rice absorb that liquid before we go adding any more in. You want to sort of be stirring it the whole time. Really what we're trying to create here is almost like a rice porridge. So by the time we're all done, we should have something that's nice and creamy and rich. And it's almost got like its own sauce right into it. And you can see that rice has absorbed pretty much all that liquid, so I'm going to go ahead and add now a little bit more. I've got my temperature turned down really low because what I don't want to have happen is I don't want all my liquid evaporating away. I want that rice to have a chance to absorb that liquid in. This is smelling wonderful already. Now, this is a bit of a time-consuming process, as I said, but it's definitely worth the while. You know what? It's colder winter nights, you know, especially when I've been outside sort of working on that wood pile all day. You know, I'm recording this on a Sunday. I was at my wood pile all day. It was a bit of a cooler day. Actually, I don't mind standing next to the stove. It gives me a chance to warm up a little bit better. And I tell you, when you got to work for your food, you really enjoy it all that more. It just tastes that little bit better. See how these rice kernels are doing here. They're softening up nicely. Okay, so you can see our liquid is almost fully absorbed in here. Now let's have a look, see. Now, I might need to add a little bit of water out of my stock. But no, I'm really happy with that. So, so you can see we got a little bit of liquid left in here, and that's great. We want that sort of almost like porridge-like consistency. So I'm going to turn off the heat at this point. And now we're going to hit it with sort of the peste de resistance. You know, a couple little finishing touches I like to do just to make the risotto, give that a little bit of oomph. So I'm going to throw in a little pat of butter. The butter makes everything better. And I got my piece of grana padano here. So I'm going to grate some of this in. I'm going to go with a nice coarse grate. Give this a little bit of a stir around. There'll be enough heat in there to be able to melt that butter, melt that Parmesan for us. Ooh, making a bit of a mess. And just to kick it up that last little bit, we'll throw a little bit more Parmesan right over the top. So why don't we move back over to our main counter over here, and we'll have a little bit of a better look at this, and we'll give this a little taste. I'm really excited about this. All right, so we have our risotto all taken up. Doesn't that look fantastic? Oh, smells so good. I'm really getting that mushroom smell come through. I love mushrooms. Now again, this is one of these dishes that you can do almost anything. And I'll talk about that a little bit more. I want to have a spoonful of this. I've been working hard today. So amazing. It's such a classic dish, and there's a reason why it's a classic. You know, so yeah, it's a little bit of work. Anything worth doing is worth working for, you know. So I'm hoping some of you guys are gonna give this a shot. Now, like I said, you could do this almost anything. You know, you could just do it with some really basic vegetable stock, no mushrooms in there at all. You can add some chicken. There's all kinds of different cheeses you can add. You can go around poking online. Right, but really, it's just a matter of having some good quality stock, having arborio rice, specifically arborio rice. You know, and then just go for it. You know, I'll caution you, if you're going to use stock from the store, make sure you have something with not too much salt. Make sure you don't boil it too long, things like that. So you don't want this ending up really salty tasting and just not pleasant then to eat. You know, if you want to make your own stock, it's actually not that hard, and I will do some videos about that again down the road. But as always, I hope you learned something today. You know, again, so keep in mind that risotto sort of, you know, process, where it's really is sauteing those grains and adding that stock in a small amount of time, letting it get absorbed by the rice. Before adding more in, you're really trying to create that sort of porridge-like texture. And really what you're looking for in the end is you want your rice grains to be al dente, you know, or meaning to the tooth. So you want something that's soft enough to be able to chew through. There should be no crunch left, but still firm enough that you actually have to chew it. So you know what, I want to thank my cousin Taylor, who's actually asked me to do some of these rice videos. I've got one more rice video that I'm going to do fairly soon. I'm going to do some fried rice. I got a few other dishes coming up soon that I'm looking forward to. I had a message from a buddy of mine, Sean. He asked me to do a whole video explaining mise en place, so that's going to be coming up soon. You know, for Samantha, I'm going to be doing a lemon and garlic shrimp. There's someone else who had messaged me recently, and I just, well, you know who you are, and it'll be coming up, chicken stir fry. So anyway, you know, thanks for watching these videos. I hope you're enjoying them. You know, please, if you've liked it, you know, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Please share these videos with your friends, you know, get them out on the social media. Help me build my audience. Keep coming back, keep sending me the messages. I love seeing them. You know, send some pictures your way too, and I'll post those on the website. If you haven't been to the website yet, it's bigredscooking.ca. Keep coming back, like I say, you know, and really at the end of the day, eat some good food. Life's too short to eat bad food. And we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.